All right, guys, what is going on? Happy Monday. Welcome. Kevin, welcome from the airport. Howdy from the airport. Where are you going now? Are you going on another vacation or another work trip? Hope the travels are going well and not too not too crazy. Great to see you here. And man, thank you for even showing up here traveling. That's amazing. All right, guys, my name is Adum. Welcome. This is what is this? This is a live stream where every Monday we get together and we figure out how we're going to build ourselves a company which is going to generate us $1 million in revenue every single year. And we're building a podcast studio, a content creation studio, and we are going to just kind of dive right into how we're going to start getting clients to come into our studio regularly. So that's what we're working on right now. So Kevin, work trip to San Diego, racking up those points. Nice. That's one of the nice things about traveling for work is that number one, you're not paying for it and you're traveling. And then you also get like your own points or whatever, which is always really, really cool. Like hotel points and all that kind of stuff, which is always really nice. Okay, so let's get right into it. So I'm going to share my screen here. As always, we're going to go over kind of a report of how things went last week and then kind of just go from there and kind of get into the details today of putting together an ideal customer avatar of who we're going to target, because we're going to start doing a lot of cold outreach. And we want to know who it is that we need to actually outreach to and where those people are. And then having just an idea of who we kind of want to get into the door is going to help us figure out exactly how to do that outreach, right? So that's kind of the idea behind that. So all that being said, of course, we're trying to do two things. We're trying to grow our personal podcast, which is Unconventional Mindset. And we're trying to, of course, grow our content studio as well, too. And so the way that we're doing that is we're measuring two different things. Number one is the average downloads we're getting per episode. And we're at 51 average downloads per episode, down about 4 from last week. And we're also tracking how much revenue the actual studio is making. And so far in May, we haven't had any revenue, which sucks. And we want to change that, right? So what happened last week? Last week was pretty busy in that I was doing a whole lot of editing. And I did 4 podcast episodes of like creating the shorts for that. And that actually turned out really, really well. It almost took like a day to do each episode. It was kind of crazy. So that was done. Podcast number 9 was launched. Someone was supposed to come in actually today to do podcast number 10, but that was rescheduled. Something came up for the guest. So that's not going to happen until June, unfortunately, which kind of really sucks. But, that happens. I was doing a whole lot of reorganizing into the studio space here because we're going to create a walkthrough video of the space, all the gear and all that kind of stuff that, that people might be interested in to just showcase the studio. So getting all that ready to do and to film this week. And I was also supposed to go film educational content for a friend, and that got canceled as well too. So I'm not sure when that's going to be rescheduled. So overall, just kind of not too much progress in terms of like reaching customers and all that kind of stuff. So that kind of sucked, but it was kind of just catching up on all the things that I know I needed to do in terms of getting my shorts and everything kind of all put up to speed, and or kind of up to speed on that. So one thing I wanted to mention here, lessons from last week. So as I was kind of organizing the studio, and I'm always thinking of like, shit, I wish I had this piece of gear, or I wish I had this type of space so I can do XYZ to the studio. And it kind of got me a little bit upset in that I almost kind of realized that I'm never going to be 100% happy with my studio with the amount of money that I have now. Like if I had an unlimited budget, I could probably just buy all the stuff that I want to and have the exact setup that I want to. But I don't have that. And it just got me thinking that, I really need to be happy with the things that I have and work with the things that I have, and also understand that the things that I care about, like cables, are not like I don't have a good conduit for my cables, or I don't have as many kind of plants as I want to, or there's just an issue with the exact size of the table or whatever. Like all those things, the clients don't even care about, to be honest, because they come in here and they love the space. So I just have to always really make sure is just take my ego aside, stop thinking about all the things that are important to me, and I just can't let that stop me from achieving the things that I want to achieve, right? And I feel like for me anyways, I know that I've done a lot of that in the past of thinking like it's not perfect, it's not exactly how I want to be, how I want it to be. So therefore I procrastinate in terms of launching or what have you. So I think it's really important to just always kind of keep that in mind, that go for it, put it out there, and and just kind of grow from there. So I just wanted to go over again quick of what the goals are for May 2025, kind of these short, small kind of monthly goals. And number one, which we're working on right now, is to shoot and release a studio video tour. So I think that's going to be really, really fun. I'm really excited and happy to do that one. I get to bring out my gimbal, which I haven't used in quite a while. So we'll get some nice, cool, smooth, buttery shots of the studio and everything. So that's going to be really, really great. And I have it here to create an intro video as well, to kind of like a welcome to Pixel. I'm not so sure I want to do that right now. We'll talk about that in the next slide, actually. And then, of course, we want to get one paid client into the studio. And it kind of goes into getting that one new paid client in the studio. I don't think that having an intro video is what's stopping me from getting clients. So I'm always trying to keep it in my mind that you have to think about what tasks that I can do that are actually going to help me to achieve my goals. And I find that sometimes, I could get a little bit sidetracked on doing things that are busy, that keep me busy, but aren't exactly moving the needle forward. So I kind of have that in this week's activities. So number one, I have all the YouTube shorts done out. I just need to schedule them all to get released, every day on the Unconventional Mindset Clips channel, YouTube channel. So I'm going to do that. And of course, we want to shoot the studio tour. We're going to do that this week. But yeah, so I have it here that I want to write the script for this intro video, but then I don't think it's really necessary. As I was just saying, that's not what's stopping me from getting clients right now. If it finds out that I get a bunch of people to hit my website and then they're not converting, then maybe I can think of doing something different on the homepage to maybe give the client more information as to what I do. But for right now, I don't think that's what's stopping me from getting clients. So, and yeah, what we're going to work on today is creating that ideal client avatar. And I want to just kind of have a script and a framework, or just something that I can cut and paste and then kind of tailor it to each individual person I'm going to outreach to, but just have something ready to go so that when I want to go and outreach to these customers or potential customers, that, I can do it relatively easily. And this week I want to hopefully have the ability to test that out and try to reach out to 5 or 10 potential clients this week. And then there's also one thing that I'm working on with a client, and then I'm validating my podcast premium offer. And I wonder if I could pull that up here. Can I pull that up real quick? I think I could pull that up. Yeah, real quick here. So yeah, premium service. So this is where a client will come into the studio once a month, record a whole bunch of content, and all of that stuff will be edited down and distributed for the whole month. So that's the idea behind that. And I'm testing out and validating this with a client, and with the goals of working with them so that way, when she releases a whole bunch of content and we do all that kind of stuff, that she can start generating some more revenue in her business and have a great proof of concept there. So, right. And yeah, that's basically it. That's what I want to get on and what I want to get done this week. So let's go right now. Let's open up a Word document here. Well, we already have one open up. And let me zoom in here. And let's just talk about, I guess, our ideal client avatar, right? That's kind of what we're thinking of doing, or not what we're thinking of doing. This is definitely what we're doing. So, and I guess one thing that we could start with is maybe just thinking about the types of clients or potential clients that we can have. So, just thinking, we're just going to start brain dumping stuff here. So, and if you have any ideas, do feel free to let me know in the chat or in the comments. Okay, so obviously number one is I'm just gonna say the business owner that wants to start a podcast. So, and I don't think they would be somebody that's ideal for me to start out with, because they haven't even started a podcast yet. So that might be a little bit of a harder sell versus someone who already has a podcast. So one thing that I was thinking of, and I think this would be an even stronger avatar, is someone that, so let's just say individual that has a podcast, but only audio, right? So they're only doing an audio podcast and they don't have video. So that could be of interest. to find out all the people that have an audio only podcast here locally. And another thing I was thinking about is, so another individual who has a podcast. And then we'll just say, but is on, I'll say on the lower end of quality. So if I notice that whether it's a video podcast or just a, just maybe they have a cheap microphone or whatever the case may be, that the sound is just not there. And it's just, if I could just, I'll reach out to them and show them what is possible through our studio, then, because they already have a podcast, they already understand that there's not going to be that need to sell them as to why they should start one, because they already have one. They know the benefits of it. So yeah, it's definitely basically people that have a podcast seems to me right now would be the ideal person. They have a podcast, but maybe they don't have a regular setup, whatever the case may be. That's kind of, I think, the people that I'm looking for. So, what else could we say? We could say, I want to think of, like an established business. I don't even know like what their amount of revenue should be, but I want to think of somebody that they're in business for a while. They're making, I don't know, $500,000 in revenue, something like that. Again, I'm just kind of taking this number out of my ass, really, because I'm not sure what a good number would be. But someone that understands the value of, they understand marketing. They know that they need to do marketing, and that they know about a podcast and they've been thinking about it, but they just never been able to pull the trigger on it. So, yeah, that's tough. How do you find those types of people? So let's say established business. Let's just say, oops, I wanted to do bracket here. That might even be too, I don't even know if that's too much. Let's just put $250,000 plus revenue. Let's say annual revenue. Annual revenue. I don't even want to say looking for growth. I guess, I guess you could say looking for podcasts. But that's, yeah. I'm just going to say maybe looking for growth. Say new marketing avenues. See, I feel like this one is a little bit abstract in that, where would those people even be? How do you find them? And that I'm not sure. That I don't know. Okay, who else could we look out for? So, is it worth noting or looking at? I don't think this is the greatest idea, but I'm thinking about looking at the competition that I have here in the Halifax region, looking at the market, or not, sorry, looking at the market and people that are here, and seeing their clients and their podcast list, and seeing about, that's like client poaching or poaching customers. I don't feel like that's the cleanest way of going about it. I don't want to make enemies in here. I don't know. Companies that want to enhance their internal communication. So would they want to be creating content for, like, can you give me an example of what you're thinking in terms of what kind of content they're going to want to create? I think I see what you're going with this, is that if you're wanting to create almost SOPs for your business. Yeah, and then a newsletter. Yeah, so like let's say internal communications within a company. So this would be a larger company. So I'll just put SOPs and just like tutorials, whatever. Tutorial/guides. Is there any okay. I never even really thought about that angle of creating content that is not like for marketing specifically, right? But it's more of an internal thing. That's really interesting. And I think that's where having this general content space is going to be really, really helpful. So you're not creating a podcast, but you're just filming content. So, and I think it's going to be really interesting how I frame the copy around that on the website. So I like that. Is there what was I thinking of? I was thinking of like news organizations or people of the media right now. So, I mean, okay, so you can think of academic institutions / research groups. Let's say looking to... Yeah, see, this one's interesting too, because I've been talking to some people in academics and it's a little bit more tricky. It's not an easy sell. But looking to, I guess, publicize. Is that even, how do I spell that? Publicize? Publish? To publicize. Oh, how do you spell that? Or just drive awareness to research. To research. Can't spell today. Okay. What else? What other people might be interested? So let's think about specifically podcasting. And let's see. So have you come on site to make training videos, record broadcast town hall meetings? So yeah, actually, I do remember actually recording town hall meetings. Yeah, but there was all virtual though. But here off topic. No, but it's really good though to start thinking in that kind of, I think it's thinking about the art of the possible and the directions that we could head in the future here and the types of services that we could offer. But definitely training videos, because educational content / training videos is interesting. But I think what you're saying too, though, is that, I mean, training videos is a little bit different because we'd probably have to go on site to their place to actually film that kind of stuff. And that's stuff I want to avoid. I don't want to be a roaming like production company, because I've done that kind of stuff before when you got to haul all your gear on site. It's just such a pain in the butt. And I don't really like doing that kind of stuff. I like just having this space where people can come and do their thing here. And that's what I like. And that's okay. I mean, we can't do everything for everyone. Okay. So who else could we think about? So obviously it's business owners is a big thing. So individual / business. I'll just throw that in there. Yeah. So again, I think, let me highlight like these two right now. That to me, these seem like the low-hanging fruit for me to be able to try to see if I can connect with people looking for my services. People that already have something on the go. So I think, let me just go down here and let's just say, like how to find ideal clients. Rolando, how's it going? Welcome. Priests who are looking for new ways to connect with their parishioners. Here in Mexico, Facebook live stream masses are becoming very popular. And in Latin America, cleric podcasts are gaining traction. That is interesting. So I guess what we could say, that's a whole nother, that's a huge demographic, eh? Religious groups, I'll just say churches, let's say that they do like live streams of what is it, like a mass or whatever. Yeah. But maybe looking to branch out to reach people like outside of mass, right? Just as like what you're saying here, looking new ways to connect. Well, that's interesting. That's almost like a very, like a sub niche you can have, like Christ Pod or something like that. I don't know, whatever it is, just think of some like religious name or podcast for Jesus or something. I don't know, terrible names there, but no, that's funny. Yeah, I was thinking of something in media again. Like, what is there anything in media? But again, usually they have their own studios or whatever, right? So it doesn't really make sense. So, but there could be. So even if we think outside of just podcasting, sorry, I'm just going back here to brainstorming. Basically, like educators. Wanting to put their information courses online. And I don't know what kind of educators this would be, whether it would be a school. So maybe this could be like an actual school. Because schools, I think that they don't necessarily have like an AV studio. But I wonder if they want to create courses. Yeah, I don't know. That would be interesting. And how could you partner with educational institutions, that people that want to teach something, and give them the tools to be able to do that? I wonder if the universities do that, or the colleges. Interesting. I don't know. Okay. That already have a podcast. Oh, there's another potential client here. What could be so existing podcast that is doing well. That the host, whatever, owner is looking to take it to the next level. Right? Say they're getting 1,000 downloads or whatever. They're even getting sponsors or what have you. But maybe they're doing all the editing themselves. Maybe they're very busy doing other aspects of their business, and they want to unload all the burden of recording and all that kind of stuff. Those could be really good opportunities for Pixel to kind of come in. So again, they already have an existing podcast, but they're doing well, and they want more, right? Maybe they want up the production value, or help creating social media clips, all that kind of stuff that we can work with them for. You could offer to produce the podcast for them for free on the condition that they promote you in their churches. In addition, it's tax deductible since it can be categorized as a donation. So as in, like, I can donate like whatever I do to them, to them. That sounds ominous. But if I was to do work for them, it would be, I could deduct what I would charge them as a donation, which is really, really cool. So, I mean, Yeah. I'm just trying to think of, they can promote, Pixel, but I mean, I guess it's one of those, it's almost like throwing flyers around, right? Like maybe you throw out 100 flyers, but maybe there's one person interested. So it's not really like a targeted demographic because it's all kinds of different people that go to church, right? Not necessarily, Jessica, who's a single mom who's looking to start a podcast, but it never hurts getting word of mouth. Yeah, so that's interesting. It really goes, it speaks to what we were talking about last week and maybe even 2 weeks ago about offering to do stuff for free and putting out my services for free to specific groups of people. And yeah, I mean, again, I don't know if I'd want to do it for free for forever, but some kind of like exchange of value might make sense. So I'm going to put offer for free here, but I think again this really fits in where I could be offering things for free for anyone that I reach out to, right? Well, once you actually start crafting the message and crafting the actual content, then I think we'll be able to go from there. Okay. So I'm going to highlight this one here in yellow because this is all, again, existing. And so for these people that are existing and they're doing well, this is where we can think of having them coming in either this podcast creator where it's $750 per episode, or it's the podcast premium, right? So, but I'd imagine it'd be more this one if they already have their, it'd be something, it'd be like a combination of this. It might not be every single thing here, but it's doubtful that it would be this one. Yeah. Okay. So how to find those ideal clients? So I guess the first thing that we can do is, I don't know how to do this, but get a list of all podcasts that are based in, I guess I could say Nova Scotia, but I think Halifax is like 50% of all Nova Scotia's population. And how do I do that? That is one thing that I don't know how to do. Hang on. Let's see. What would be, I'm going to ask ChatGPT here. Get a hold of that are done in the So I says, how do I get hold of a list of podcasts that are based in Halifax, Nova Scotia? So I guess I just, Podcast Atlantic, a directory and production company focused on, interesting. Well, what is this? Where does this take me? Podcast Atlantic is a podcast directory for Atlantic Canadian podcasts and a production company for those who want to dip their toes in the podcasting world. Okay. Visit website. This isn't the actual website. What is this? See, this is, what is this? I think this is where you can get funding, maybe. Nova Scotia has only 1.1 million people. My neighborhood has more people than that. Yeah. This is Canada. Yeah, Nova Scotia is not very. This isn't. Yeah. I mean, I think we can make it work. We could definitely make money here, but whether we can make the kind of money that we're eventually going to want to make, we might be looking at moving to a bigger city. That's for sure. Okay. Anyways, let's go here. What did this not take me to the right spot? Podcast Atlantic. Is it not a thing anymore? Or did oh my goodness, did their website get Podcast Atlantic? Best Atlantic Canada podcast. Yeah, so anyways, I'm going to have to figure out how to actually get a list of all, like do this. Maybe it's just going to be searching through all the directories. And I can't remember when I set up my podcast, if you put somewhere where your location is, probably, I'm sure you must. Okay. So how to find ideal clients. I'll get a list of all podcasts that are based in Halifax, Nova Scotia. And what kind of details do I want to know? When they started, just kind of the number of episodes. When they started, and also still operating. And say the latest episode. I want to know, I'll say, so I want to have a gauge of popularity. Okay. Yeah, I mean, is there anything else that I'm missing here? Here in Mexico, there are podcast studios that pay their hosts. They're like TV studios that make money from plays and sponsors, but they don't charge people to record or produce their podcast. Podcast studios that pay their hosts. I'm just trying to think now. They're like TV studios that make money from plays and sponsors. They're the ones, so they find sponsors, right? So they're more of like a label, like a record label, right? As opposed to like just a creative space. So they almost maintain, do they like maintain the IP of whatever it is that's created in their space? Like, do they own it because they're the ones that are getting the sponsorships and whatever, and that, you know, they're paying the actual hosts? That's interesting. That's an interesting model. I'd love to see that. I did see one podcast studio actually that I think was, actually I don't know where it was, but I think it was somewhere in, I don't know. It was in Spanish. I'm pretty sure it was in Mexico somewhere. But anyways, it looked really, really nice. But it was just a standard, just to come in and book your time or whatever. It wasn't something like this. That's interesting. Yeah. That's definitely something that I know that I don't want to do. At least right now, I could say that. To help people find sponsors and all that kind of stuff. It's like, no. I just want a space where people can create. Yeah, they're marketing agencies. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that operate like TV studios or TV channels. Yeah, there's so many different business opportunities and different avenues you can take things. So it's really, really cool just to see the breadths of things that people have kind of come up with as like business models, all based on one thing. It's really, I don't know, I think it's really, really cool. And maybe it just shows for me like my ignorance about all these things and how there's so many different ways to do things, which is really, really cool. Okay, so, right. So let's get a list of all the people that have podcasts here in Halifax, and get just basic information on how long it was they started, how popular they are, And I guess from there, we also need to obviously, we need to get the contact information. And then basically, craft email offer to them. And this could be whether we do it for free, discounts, like whatever it is we decide to do is fine. I think it's going to be dependent on the person that we're getting. Yeah, I mean, I think that's as simple as we could possibly make it. So that's going to take this ideal client here. That's going to handle all three of these potential clients, right? They have a podcast, but only audio. They have it, but it's of a lower quality. That'll be listed in any podcast directory, right? And something that's doing well, again, that's going to come out in our search here. Whoops. Yeah. In Argentina, the business lies in donations from followers, just like Spain. You mean that people donate like their money to the different hosts and to the different shows, kind of like a Patreon kind of thing? Is that what you mean? So like it's basically like, fan supported, basically. Yeah, that's what you're talking about. Yeah, that's cool. That to me would be like an ideal way to run like your own podcast or whatever. Is that just like anything, you just have your fans that like you say, pay $5 a month or $10 a month or donate whatever that they can to help keep your show afloat. Because like knowing, like doing this stuff for a while now, like it can get expensive and it's time consuming, and it's so to be able to have sponsors, to be able to have like dedicated audience like that is really, really cool. Okay, so I think we have anything. Am I missing anything? Like, does this make sense, guys, for like the ideal client, right? Because we've identified, and I'm sure we can even go way deeper into the other potential types of customers. But again, like ideally right now, it's people that have a podcast and just target those people. And again, my thought process is people that already have a podcast do not need to be sold or convinced on why they need a podcast, right? There's no extra selling step. They already know why they have a podcast. We just want to help them make it better for them, right? Yeah, I can only offer you my emotional support. So Kev, I didn't want to make it sound as if I had my hand out or passing the. I'm just thinking we're thinking of talking about churches here, passing the donation the cup or whatever. I don't know what it's called in church, when the plate or whatever. I don't know. But the emotional support is greatly appreciated. That's the biggest support that I need right now, I think, too, is to keep going. Anyways, I appreciate that. They usually donate during live broadcasts. They are lawyers, economists, politicians, comedians, all kinds of people doing it. Yeah, like, do you have a website of these? Like, can you share a website of one of these businesses that is like this marketing business, but wrapped around in this like media production? I would love to just to see what it is and what it looks like. Because it might even be where, like, one of those things where there's these agencies or companies, I don't know what to call them, but they have like a multitude of YouTube channels. So they own YouTube channels, and they basically, pay out the talent to be the hosts of those YouTube channels. And then they all share in the revenue that company generates, right? So it sounds to me, it's kind of like that, but kind of maybe for podcasting. I guess there's podcast networks as well too. So there's all those kinds of things, which are interesting, because who knows, maybe at some point down the line, Pixel could become something that has like a network, right? If Unconventional Mindset ends up doing really, really well and it takes off, and then maybe there's something else that we want to spin off, that's under the Pixel umbrella. Like, who knows? Um, BLCK MNKY.com. Okay, I'm just going to translate this into English though. Is that like Black Monkey? Okay. Who are we? Audio visual content. Yeah, cool. Yeah, she's like Black Monkey. Cool. Okay, this is cool. This is okay. Oh, they have huge facilities to record. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, who knows? Maybe something like that could be something how we could end up being like this. Who knows? Well, they get a shit ton of views. Is that like 105 million? Is that correct? And this one's only has like 9,000. So some of them go like super crazy viral, and some of them don't. If I'm reading that correctly, that's crazy. That's very fascinating. How do you get 21 million and this only gets like 9? Oh, maybe this is just an image. Maybe that's why. But like, so trailer official. So these ones are 1.1 million. So this is 300. So what's this? Am I going to get... I can't hear this. Why can't I hear anything? Oh, I'm muted. Interesting. I'm going to have to study this, see what's going on there. Is this another website? Wondery? Okay. All right, let's pop that in there. All shows. So this looks like W plus. Okay. Yeah, okay. I think I see where you're going with all this. These are all podcast episodes and whatever. Mr. Ballin. Okay, yeah. Yeah, these are all okay. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, anothercompany.com. Yeah, cool. All right. Well, yeah, this is really good. Lots of stuff to look into. I don't want to go too far or too deep into the art of the possible of where Pixel could be, 5 years from now. Let's focus on like this month of getting people into the studio and getting some butts into our seats here, and then start generating some revenue, and then going from there. And then we could see where things are going to take us. So first things first, we got to get these clients. So, all right. So this is the plan here. And let me know if you think this is good or bad or whatever. But I'm going to scrape the internet somehow, figure out how to get a list of all the podcasts that are here in Halifax. Whether I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that, figure it out. Maybe I have to write some piece of code. I don't know. We'll figure something out. And then get a list of just the basic information on how big they are to kind of tailor what the message is going to be. And then we're going to reach out to every single one of those hosts and give them some type of offer. We'll think of Alex Hormozi's $1 million offers, make them an offer so good that they feel stupid saying no. So we're going to have to figure out how we can craft that and see if we're going to get any of those people to actually come into the studio and record shit here. That's what we're looking to do. So these companies started less than 2 years ago. So maybe that's one of the things we can think of. Like, hey, listen, if we play our cards right, if we do really, really well, hey, maybe in 2 years, this is where we could potentially be. Like having a studio space like that Black Monkey, that would be like phenomenal. So that'd be really, really cool. But that's the business model. It's getting sponsors. Yeah. So I think that's Yeah, it's a completely different business model because you're saying to the people that come in, saying, hey, listen, if you come in here, we will be able to create a network or whatever that'll get you to have like to make money, right? Because they're paying them basically as talent. So it's a completely different model, but it's something worth keeping in mind for sure. That's pretty cool. I like it. I don't know anything about that, about getting sponsors and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely don't know, but it's not to say that I can't learn. So, okay. So that's the plan. So I like how things are going. The money is in influencer representation. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Okay. So yeah, I totally get it. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Are you thinking, or are you suggesting that this is a good avenue for me to go down for Pixel, or to start thinking about having that avenue as opposed to being like a podcast studio? And I just want to give like a quick example of, I guess, of the difference would be this company here. Feel like this is a big company, Podster, where they have studios in, like they have their Dubai studio where you can record and edit, do all that kind of stuff. And then I think they have stuff in Singapore as well too. They have like really big, like high quality production studios as well too. So I think this is like, hey, listen, we book, like this is, can you even show what their studio looks like? Yeah, they have like amazing sets. So, but it's interesting. I wonder if there's any kind of way to combine the two. So I don't know. I'm not familiar with your soft skills, your network of contacts. Yeah. So I think my network of contacts right now would definitely be lacking for doing something like that. Like no doubt, 100%. So I think we're just going to have to, we're just going to stick with getting people to know who we are and reaching out to people and trying to get people in the door. And then I think once we start talking to people, we're going to kind of know what it is that they're looking for. And, if they're looking to just record a podcast or if they want something more, I think it's just keeping an open mind as to what possibilities could come up as we kind of move forward, and just being open to exploring any opportunities that can end up coming our way, because you never know what can happen. So I like that. I really like that. This is even stuff that I didn't even think of today, but then you guys are bringing this up, and I think there's really good things to keep in mind. The more people you serve, the more money you make. Yeah, 100%. That's like preach. Keep preaching. Preaching. Rolando's preaching today. No, I love it. That's fantastic. All right, guys, I do need to run. It's a little bit late. I was supposed to go 15 minutes ago. So hopefully Andrea isn't too upset with me, but thank you so much for joining. Kevin, Rolando, always appreciate you guys stopping by. It means a whole lot to me. $5 on Patreon. No, just kidding. No, I do appreciate it, guys. So that's going to be it for me for today. So again, if you have any other thoughts or whatever, leave them in the comments, send me an email later on or whatever. Always appreciate that feedback. Okay. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Have yourself a great rest of your week. And as always, we'll be back here again on Monday for a brand new live stream. Take care. We'll see you next time.